Coming up on OU Nightly, OU President David Bourne calls out Oklahoma's pending tax cut, religion and racism on the OU campus, and OU's solution to less parking is causing more headaches. This is OU Nightly. When OU announced it was replacing hundreds of campus parking spaces with buildings, students cried foul.
The decision left many scrambling for an alternate place to park. OU Nightly's Anna Whitney joins us live at OU's Duck Pond to show us some of the fallout from that decision.
OU's solution used to involve apartment shuttles dropping students off here at the duck pond, but now the duck pond is off limits and students are frustrated.
Usually police lights indicate trouble, but this officer is just looking for information. Last week, OU PD officer Shane Roddy stopped apartment shuttles dropping students off at and near the duck pond parking lot.
We're just trying to document like what times they come here and for how long so that we can find a better place for them to park.
Last January, OU officials told Norman apartment complexes their private shuttles could no longer drop students off or pick them up at the Duck Pond parking lot.
Instead, the apartment shuttles have to drop their students off here at Lloyd Noble Center, where they will then get on a public cart bus to the main campus. Many students find Since Officer Roddy checked on the buses, the university has asked the shuttles to no longer drop students off here at the Duck Pond parking lot. Bijan?
Next week, OU Nightly will bring you an in-depth report on Bourne's tax plan and what it might mean for education in our state.
That's right. OU President David Bourne said today that past tax cuts are causing a big problem for Oklahoma's education. This morning, I spoke with President Bourne in an exclusive interview about the problems facing our state's education system. Bourne heads a group that's promoting a 1-cent tax sale that will generate $615 million for education. He says money is needed more than ever because of the pending tax cut proposed by last year's legislature.
They're still planning another income tax cut this year when we're dead broke and have $1 billion. There are times for investment, and there are times for tax cuts, and this is just not another time for tax cuts.
And as Ashley said earlier, OU Nightly will have an in-depth report on Bourne's tax proposal next week in our show.
Local leaders of the Abrahamic faiths came together on campus last night to discuss religion and racism. The panelists said the only way to combat racism in religion is by holding discussions and educating one another.
Anytime you point the finger at somebody and make a derogatory term, God would say to you, are you making fun at the merchandise or are you making fun at the manufacturer?
And I was actually at the event, at the Interfaith panel. It was a great discussion. I'm glad we're finally starting to get these talks going on campus. I think they're needed.
Yeah, definitely. It's such an important discussion to have, you know, especially on a campus that's so diverse.
Exactly. And just changing gears a little bit, weather has been nice, kind of cold. We're finally starting to get into that fall atmosphere.
Yeah, seeing a little bit of that fall weather's been a little bit nice.
Definitely. And Sawyer is standing by with possible chances of rain on the way. Sawyer?
Yeah, that's right, guys. So we do have the possibility for some rain as we go on into tomorrow. More on that in just a little bit. Looking at our visible satellite outside right now, you can see those clouds off to the west. Those will be making their way into our area overnight into tomorrow morning. Now looking at current temps outside, you can see where we have more cloud cover up near Guyman, 54 degrees. And then down here in the southeast, the hot spot Idabel at 76, where they have had sun for most of the day. Now coming up in weather, I'll talk to you about your rainy Friday. I'll give you your Halloween forecast and remember to fall back as we go on into Sunday. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Sawyer. And police in Oklahoma City have charged one of their own officers with misdemeanor assault and battery for allegedly punching a high school student on campus. Thomas Jaha, he's been an officer for 25 years, claims the action was in self-defense. But police spokesman Captain Paco Balderrama says the use of force was not appropriate in this case. Police in South Carolina yesterday fired a police officer caught on video for violently slinging a female student across a classroom. And that video went viral earlier this week.
Hunter McKee is in the news center. Hunter, we have a new Speaker of the House.
Yeah, Ashley, Paul Ryan took the new Speaker of the House today. He's the 54th person to hold the position and is now third in line for the presidency. Ryan received 236 votes from members of the House just yesterday. The House approved a significant budget deal, with Ryan and President Obama compromising on key points of the legislation. The top 10 GOP candidates heated up last night at a third Republican debate. They tackled issues such as the debt ceiling, Social Security, and tax plans. The candidates made the sharpest attacks yet during the campaign. Marco Rubio stood out from the crowd, counterpunching after an attack from Jeb Bush.
Governor John Kasich from the Buckeye State, Ohio.
No, Jeb, I don't remember. Well, let me tell you, I don't remember you ever complaining about John McCain's vote record. The only reason why you're doing it now is because we're running for the same position, and someone has convinced you that attacking me is going to help you.
Several candidates complained about the questions they were asked. CNBC hosted last night's events. The next GOP debate is November 10th. And a jetliner caught fire today while waiting to depart Fort Lauderdale, Florida. 15 passengers are injured, with at least one suffering severe burns. The pilots taxiing behind the aircraft noticed fuel leaking from the engine before the fire erupted. That's what's happening around the world. Ashley, back to you.
Thanks, Hunter. And police have released a surveillance video from inside the Waco Twin Peaks shootout back in May. The video shows several people taking cover and some drawing their weapons inside the restaurant. Look at this video. 9 bikers, they lay dead that day, and 177 were arrested. All were jailed on $1 million bail and charged with engaging in organized crime activity. In all, police recovered 480 weapons, including guns, knives, brass knuckles, hammers, and padlocks wrapped in bandanas.
The people of Weatherford have laid to rest the youngest victim of Saturday's tragedy at OSU. 2-year-old Nash Lucas was one of 4 killed at the university's homecoming parade when a driver plowed through the crowd. Dozens gathered in the western Oklahoma town to bury Lucas in his green and yellow John Deere-inspired coffin. His mother, who was also injured in the crash, watched the funeral in a wheelchair with her foot and ankle bandaged.
And OSU and the city of Stillwater will hold a community-wide memorial service for all those affected by Saturday's tragic accident. The memorial is scheduled for 6 p.m. Tuesday, November 3rd at Gallagher-Iba Arena. The service will be televised live at ostate.tv. And still ahead on OU Nightly, have you had enough? Well, there's more street construction coming to Norman.
Plus, plans for a safe, fun Halloween in downtown Norman. Norman's Lindsay Street is the main artery for the University of Oklahoma and many Norman businesses. OU Nightly's Tyler Jones shows us what the city can do during construction to keep this vital artery flowing.
The hustle and bustle of traffic on Lindsay Street in Norman will soon be replaced with cones and construction as the city begins its Lindsay Street project. But before this happens, the Highway 9 bridge construction must be complete, and ODOT's deconstruction of the Lindsay Street Bridge must begin.
The city is doing their portion in conjunction with the timing of theirs. So when they take the bridge down to rebuild it, that's when we'll be doing our widening.
As you can see behind me, Lindsay will be torn up during this construction, but the businesses that line the street will still be open.
We need to be cognizant that we are here, and for us to be here after 2017, you have to come visit us in between.
Kaplan says that the main strategy for these businesses to keep their doors open is communication.
A lot of it is just really about the communication, and so we're trying to communicate with them as much as possible, and then for them to then in turn communicate with their customers and their clients.
After construction begins, the Lindsay Street Bridge should be completed in about a year, and Lindsay Street's widening should finish up in 2.5 to 3 years. At the earliest, spring of 2017. Tyler Jones, OU Nightly.
For a 4-day forecast on the latest Lindsay Street conditions, as well as a timeline for the project, you can log on to lindsaystreetnorman.com.
Every Thursday, Aaliyah Covington joins us in the studio with the latest on health news. And Aaliyah, we're talking about meat, and it got some bad reviews.
Yeah, it's been a pretty bad week for meat. First, the World Health Organization declared that many processed meats may lead to cancer. Now, food analytics firm Clear Labs found that 10% of vegetarian hot dog products contain meat. The company also found hygiene issues in 4 of its 21 vegetarian samples and DNA in 2% of hot dog samples. Brands McCormick, Butterball, and Hebrew National were considered healthy. A new study finds premature death rates caused by illnesses like heart disease and cancer have dropped. Researchers compared the rates and causes of death in the U.S. population between 1969 and 2013. They found the overall death rate has dropped 42.9% over the last 4 decades. Experts link this occurrence to healthier lifestyles and improvement in disease detection. And in an efforts to lower death rates among children, Oklahoma lawmakers have passed a new law that aims to keep kids safer on the road. OU Nightly's Courtney Boggs has more on how not buckling your child up may lead to a ticket.
Do you feel safe, honey, in your seat?
Motor vehicle crashes are the #1 cause of death for children in the U.S., with the highest factor of infant fatality coming from the improper use of car seats. According to the National Highway Traffic Administration, 3 out of 4 car seats are installed or used incorrectly.
Your car seats are not crash tested that way, and if you install them against manufacturer's recommendations, that can have a fatal effect in a crash.
Effective November 1st, Oklahoma will launch a child restraint law to enforce safer travel for kids. Under this new regulation, all kids through 8 years of age must be secured in a car seat. Children under the age of 2 must be in a rear-facing car seat. Toddlers between 2 and 4 must be secured with a harness, and children over 4 are required to ride in a booster seat.
Look at the labels on your seat because they tell you a lot about installation and proper use, and they even have weight limits on them for rear facing and height requirements and all of these other things that have been crash tested.
Safe Kids Oklahoma will be hosting checkup events around the state to educate drivers on proper car seat installment and child passenger safety. Officials are hopeful that this law will help protect Oklahoma's children. Courtney Boggs, OU Nightly.
For more information on the new child restraint law, go to www.ok.gov.
Thank you, Aaliyah.
Yes.
And still to come on OU Nightly, the Thunder took the court for their home opener last night, and basketball superstar Kevin Durant is back for his first game in 9 months.
And Sawyer, rain is coming our way.
Yes, it is. That will be coming as we go on into tomorrow morning. I'll have more on that coming up. Welcome back to OU Nightly. Now looking at our current conditions across Norman right now, it's 65 degrees, winds out of the northeast at 7 miles per hour, and that humidity is at 37%. That will start to climb as we go on into the overnight in the morning hours for tomorrow. Now taking a look at our predictor, you can see the high pressure system up to our north that's been dominant over our area, which has kept us dry for the past several days. And this is right around 5:30 tonight. 64 in Oklahoma City, 63 up in Tulsa. But then our next rainmaker is off to our west. It will be, you can barely see it here out in Arizona, and that will make its way over across into Texas as we go on through tomorrow. You can see it right around tomorrow midday. You can see it's right down near Midland, Texas. This is going to funnel some energy up into our area. That's going to bring with it some showers for tomorrow. 54 here in Oklahoma City and 57 up in Tulsa. And then this is an interesting little look right here. This is the water vapor in the atmosphere. So the blue is where the water vapor is at, and then this is the yellows and the oranges are dry air. You can see that the water is really starting to funnel into our area, and that low pressure system, you can already see a couple storms firing down in Mexico, and those will move on up to our area as we go on throughout the overnight into tomorrow morning. Now looking at our overnight lows for tomorrow, this is at 7 o'clock in the morning. 48 degrees here in Norman, 47 up in Oklahoma City. So overall, it's going to be pretty chilly if you're heading outside. So make sure to take a jacket with you. Afternoon highs for tomorrow. This is at 7 o'clock tomorrow night. 55 degrees in Norman, 54 in Oklahoma City. Now looking at our nightly predictor, you can see that tonight or tomorrow, right around midday, you can see those showers and the shower thunderstorms moving into our area. They're going to cover a large portion of the area. And as we go on to tomorrow night, you can see that they're going to push on off to the east. Now, overall, total precipitation, we're looking at 1 to 2 inches here in the central part of the state. Mainly down in the southwestern portion near Lawton and Altus, we're looking at maybe 1 to 3 inches, more towards the upper portion. So overall, it's going to give us a nice soaking here in the state. Now looking at our 7-day forecast, 65 degrees here today, then 100% chance of showers and thunderstorms tomorrow. It's going to keep our temperatures down at 55 degrees. And then as we go on into Saturday and Sunday, the sun will peek its head back out, giving us 71 degrees on Sunday. Those will be in the upper 40s to lower 50s. And then as we go on into next week, those rain chances do make a return to the forecast. So overall, the temperatures are cooling down. It's going to feel a lot more like fall here in the future.
Oh, good. Perfect baseball weather.
Yeah,
Yes.
and
Perfect.
speaking of baseball weather, the World Series. And my man Carson is here to tell us more in sports. Carson?
Thanks, BJ. The Royals took care of business in Game 2 of the World Series last night, and we'll look at a Sooners red zone weapon as they prepare for Kansas this weekend. Sports is straight ahead. Welcome aboard. I'm Carson Williams, and this is OU Nightly Sports. Last year against Kansas, the Sooners' breakout star of 2014, Samaje Perine, set an NCAA record with 427 rushing yards. Now, with the Jayhawks awaiting OU's visit to Lawrence on Saturday, fans might want to look for a big effort from this year's new man on campus. Tight end Mark Andrews has been the surprise hit of the season. The redshirt freshman has averaged 17 yards per catch and hauled in 5 touchdown passes. He's humble about his success, but his teammates and coaches will tell you how valuable he really is to the offense.
I give credit to my coaches for that, the situations they put me in, and, obviously my teammates, I give credit to them as well. So, it's just the situations that I'm being put in and, people around me helping me out.
He's a good guy. He puts in his work, and, he's a threat down the red zone, and people have to account for him. He can run like a receiver, and I've said it plenty of times, but he's big enough to make mismatches with linebackers.
He's being used in a very good way. So we got, again, a lot of guys. We've got more depth at receiver than people realized. Mark's a really good player, and we're going to keep trying to give him his opportunities.
I'm very confident in my abilities, but, I'm just thankful that, I've been able to, do what I have done so far.
Oklahoma center Ty Darlington was named one of 12 finalists for the 2015 William V. Campbell Trophy today, awarded to the best scholar athlete in the nation. Darlington will also receive an $18,000 postgraduate scholarship. And last night, an early Halloween treat for Thunder fans and opening night at the Peak. Billy Donovan makes his Thunder head coaching debut. In the third, Andre Roberson, with some quick hands, dishes it ahead to Russell Westbrook for the flush. Game tied at 64. And Anthony Moore, but there's Enes Kanter cleaning up the mess with the and one putback. KD fired up. Just under a minute to play in the fourth, Thunder up 2. Serge Ibaka snags a KD miss, hits a Westbrook in the corner. Thunder up 5. OKC would hang on 112-106. Billy D a win in his Thunder debut. And finally, Game 2 of the Fall Classic last night in Kansas City. Top of the fourth, Johnny Cueto on the mound for the Royals. Mets first baseman Lucas Duda rips one to left, drives in Daniel Murphy for a 1-0 lead. But that wouldn't last long. In the fifth, Jacob deGrom on the mound for the Mets. Alcides Escobar with an RBI single to left. Alex Gordon scores as the Royals pour 4 in the inning. In the ninth, Yoenis Cespedes pops out to right field. Cueto tosses a 2-hit complete game as Kansas City wins 7-1 and takes a 2-0 lead in the series that now shifts to New York.
Well, all eyes will be on those games as they try to finish that series for the World Series.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks, Carson. Still to come on OU Nightly, we'll have another look at the day planner.
And with Halloween just around the corner, we have the perfect place for you to take your kiddos and loved ones. Stay with us.
I'm Rebecca Walters at the OU Nightly Update Desk. Oklahoma fourth graders registered the third largest reading score gain in the country, according to a national report released on Wednesday. According to the U.S. Labor Department, Oklahoma City's jobless rate has dropped 0.3%, thanks in part to 6,300 new government jobs. And starting November 9th, OKC plans to implement a hiring freeze on all city departments. Low sales tax revenue, likely caused by cuts in the oil and gas industry, is to blame. That's it for now. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Rebecca. Looking for Halloween fun? Face painting and other activities highlight downtown Norman Fall Fest. It all starts tomorrow at 6 p.m. on Main Street. There will be bounce toys, food trucks, and other attractions. And it's all free to the public.
That looks like a lot of fun, and we'll see how the weather will turn out for that, Sawyer.
Yeah, overall, the rain should be out of our forecast by then. As we look on to tonight, we're looking for partly cloud skies. The clouds will start rolling as rain does happen. Rain starts in the area, so overall, it's looking fairly nice. Excuse me.
And thank you so much for watching OU Nightly, brought to you by Gaylord College.